Hey, Liam. How's your day going?
Pretty good. It's nice being out here today. How about you?
I'm good. Walking around definitely makes conversations feel more relaxed. In fact, it made me notice something about myself.
What did you notice?
I become a completely different speaker the moment I start worrying about how I sound. When I'm relaxed, I talk naturally. But as soon as I think, am I saying this correctly? Everything freezes.
So, your English doesn't disappear. You're just becoming hyper-aware of yourself.
Exactly. I start listening to myself in real time, judging my pronunciation, my vocabulary, and whether the other person is noticing my mistakes.
That sounds exhausting. But what happens when you stop focusing on yourself?
That's the strange part. When I'm genuinely interested in the topic, I speak much better. Because I don't care if every sentence is perfect, I just respond.
Then let's try something right now. Forget your English for a second. Look around and tell me something you're genuinely curious about.
I wonder where that guy is going with all those shopping bags. He has so many of them.
Notice what just happened. Your attention shifted away from yourself and towards something outside of you. You didn't think about grammar or confidence. You were simply curious.
That's true. For a second, I completely forgot I was supposed to be practicing English.
And that's the key psychological trick.
So it's not about forcing confidence, it's about directing my attention elsewhere.
Exactly. When you focus on yourself, you're evaluating a performance. When you focus on the interaction, you're simply participating in it.
That makes so much sense. It's like I create a second conversation in my head just to judge what I say, and it takes energy away from the actual talk.
Precisely. Instead of fighting those thoughts, give your mind a job. Listen carefully, notice their reaction, and focus on what you genuinely want to know.
So instead of asking, do I sound confident, I should ask, what is this person actually trying to tell me?
Exactly. That single question redirects your entire focus.
I love that because telling myself don't be nervous never works. It just makes me more anxious. Curiosity gives my brain an actual job to do.
Precisely. Giving your mind a constructive task leaves no room for performance anxiety.
So whether I'm walking in a park or sitting in an interview, I can just focus on the environment, listen carefully, or stay curious.
Right. You don't need to force confidence. You just create the conditions for it to show up naturally.
I used to think fluent speakers were constantly monitoring their English, but it's the exact opposite. They aren't checking themselves at all.
Exactly. They're just engaged in the moment.
I already feel more relaxed. I was treating every interaction like an exam where I had to prove my English was good, which made me sound rigid.
That's the trap. Trying to show confidence forces you to watch yourself, making natural speech impossible. Real confidence is just being comfortable participating.
That takes so much pressure off. I'm not performing, I'm just connecting.
And when you see it as a connection rather than a test, the anxiety fades.
That solves my internal pressure. But what about when I'm in a situation where I know I'm actually being judged, like a job interview?
That's where the second psychological trick comes in.
I'm all ears.
Before the interaction even starts, mentally treat the other person like a friend you already know.
Even if it's a total stranger or an interviewer?
Especially then. When you meet someone new, your brain defaults to performance mode, overthinking impressions, judgment, and whether your English sounds confident.
How does simply imagining them as a friend change how I speak?
Think about a close friend. You don't pre-script sentences, stress over impressive words, or panic if you make a mistake. You just keep rolling.
That's true. I'll pause, laugh, rephrase, or change my mind mid-sentence without caring.
That exact freedom is what you're looking for.
So framing it as I'm just talking to a friend gives my brain permission to relax.
Exactly.
It shifts your mental state from being evaluated to being comfortable. And that brings us to the next trick. Stop trying to impress them.
Oh, I'm definitely guilty of that. Whenever someone speaks great English, I try to force advanced words to sound smarter.
And what happens?
I slow down, second-guess my word choices, and freeze up.
Because you're no longer communicating an idea, you're putting on a show. Confident English isn't about using complex vocabulary. It's about stating your normal thoughts clearly without apologizing for keeping it simple.
So simple English isn't weak, it's just clear and relaxed.
Precisely. Asking, "How do I sound?" pulls focus back onto yourself. Asking, "What do I actually want to say?" keeps you in the conversation.
Okay, that makes sense. But there's still one thing that panics me even when I'm relaxed: silences.
What about pauses bothers you?
The moment there's a pause before I answer, I panic thinking, why isn't she answering?
Do you think the same thing when someone else pauses before answering you?
Not really. I usually just assume they're thinking.
Exactly.
Wow, so I'm judging myself much more harshly than I judge anyone else.
Most people do. When someone else pauses, you give them the benefit of the doubt. But when you pause, you assume something's wrong.
That's so true. If someone takes 3 seconds to respond, I don't care. If I take 3 seconds, I panic.
That brings us to the next psychological trick. Stop treating the pause like a problem. Change what it means. A pause doesn't mean I don't know English. It just means I'm thinking about my answer.
I don't think I've ever given myself permission to just pause.
You don't need to fill every second with words. A calm pause actually makes you sound more thoughtful.
I rush a lot. I start speaking before I even know what I want to say, and then I stumble halfway through.
Exactly, which creates unnecessary pressure. A brief pause up front leads to a much clearer response.
But doesn't silence make things awkward?
Silences only feel uncomfortable if you feel uncomfortable. If you stay calm, the other person stays calm too. If you look nervous and apologize, you make the pause feel huge. If you just take a breath, think, and reply, it feels completely natural.
So confidence changes how the other person experiences the silence.
Exactly. Confidence isn't about speed, it's about control. Fast speakers are often just nervous. You can speak slowly, pause, choose simple words, and still sound totally comfortable.
That makes so much sense. So far, stop watching myself, talk like I'm with a friend, drop the need to sound impressive, and allow myself to pause.
And there's one last crucial piece.
What's that?
You don't need to carry the entire conversation.
Oh, I definitely do that. When someone asks about my weekend, I feel like I have to deliver a whole organized story.
And suddenly, a simple question becomes a full presentation.
Exactly.
So make it smaller. Someone asks, "What did you do this weekend?" You only need one idea.
Just one?
One. Say, "I went downtown on Saturday." That's enough. Let them decide if they want to know more. If they ask, "What did you do downtown?" then you give them the next idea.
So I don't have to prepare the whole story in my head beforehand? I've been acting like I have to carry the whole conversation by myself.
But conversation is shared. You're not performing on stage. When you try to control everything, worrying about grammar, pauses, and staying interesting, you end up exhausted.
It's true. So what should I do instead of asking, what should I say next?
Shift your focus. Ask yourself, what am I genuinely curious about? When you're interested in the other person, you listen carefully, and listening gives you your next response naturally.
That takes the spotlight off me. But what happens when I make an actual mistake mid-conversation? I usually replay it in my head for 30 seconds and miss everything they say next.
That replay is a bigger problem than the 1-second mistake. Ask yourself, does this mistake actually matter? If they understood you, keep going. Don't turn a tiny slip into a huge event or a dramatic apology.
How do I train my brain to stop focusing on those bad moments afterward?
Collect evidence of confidence. After a chat, instead of asking, "What did I do wrong?" ask, "What did I do well?" Did you answer without overthinking? Did you ask a follow-up question? Those small wins give your brain evidence that you can handle speaking.
I have definitely been asking the wrong post-conversation question. Did I sound fluent?
Change it to, "Did I communicate what I wanted to communicate?" Fluency isn't about perfection. It's about connection. And don't wait to feel completely fearless before speaking. Confidence comes after taking action, not before.
So I don't need a magical breakthrough. I just need to stop getting in my own way.
Exactly. In every conversation, stop watching yourself and ask, "What can I learn about this person?"
That's such a powerful shift. Instead of trying to invent impressive things to say, my curiosity creates the next question automatically.
Precisely. One person's answer creates the next question. You don't need a mental script.
To speak naturally without freezing, stop judging yourself. Talk to others like friends. Keep answers simple with pauses. Stay curious about the other person. Ignore minor mistakes and focus on what went well.
Perfect. None of these require learning more vocabulary. They just change how your brain uses the English you already have.
I used to think I was speaking English to prove I could speak English. Now I realize I'm speaking to connect with another human being.
And that is where real confidence begins.
So next time I feel nervous, I'll just remind myself, I'm here to have a conversation, not a test.
Ready to practice?
Maybe not completely fearless yet, but definitely ready. Next time you speak English, don't make your goal, "I need to sound confident." Make it much smaller. Listen carefully, share one simple idea, and notice one thing you did well.
Every little moment gives your brain evidence to trust you. One conversation at a time.
Liam, I get the mindset now, but what do I actually say when my mind needs a second during a conversation?
You need our next lesson, 10 essential English phrases to keep the conversation moving when you don't know what to say.
No more freezing. Click right here to watch it with us.
See you in the next lesson. Bye.